Welcome, my friends, to the show that never ends. I'm trying to do it in English today. Well done. Welcome, my friends, to the show that never ends.
That's in a posher voice, was it?
Yeah, that's decent English. News. Well. Kane, they're in talks then. Being offered 100 million
plus.
Yeah, is that helpful for his? And especially as we discussed the other day about how Manchester City play a different style to Kane. Could that be the end of his career? Maybe that's worth talking about after the game tonight, because it might be Wednesday for you, but today for us is Tuesday before the England game. We're going to do half of it now, and then you'll notice a change, and that's when we do the bit after the game.
Or if there's a lack of change, you know that he's just stinky and doesn't have a shower.
That he's been up all night crying. Yeah.
Well, even when we don't get through, despite the fact we're already through.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And on that subject, just who are through? That's the question. Any idea, Kieran?
Quite a lot, isn't there?
There are a lot. Okay, here we go then. Who's through? Italy through, 9 points. Wales through, 4 points. Switzerland through. That's out of Group A. Turkey out. Belgium through. Denmark through. Finland finished third and must wait and see. Group C, Netherlands through. Austria through. Ukraine finished third and must wait to see. And then, of course, there's the Czech Republic are through, England are through, and we don't know about the other two, Croatia, Scotland, and who cares? Then we have, of course we all care, we don't want Scotland to go through, do we? Then we have Slovakia, Spain, Sweden and Poland. Well, you know, juggle your balls on that one, juggle your balls. And likewise, Group F, Portugal, France, Germany and Hungary. Come on, Hungary, we're right behind you there, aren't we? So who knows about that group? And that's where we are. We've got a few games that were played on yesterday that we want to discuss first. Then we will come to England and Scotland, etc., etc. Well, the first thing I want to know is this whole ridiculous. Oh, just to say, if you listened to the piece before, somebody did quickly put a thing up saying, how can you say that about Kane, etc., etc. Sorry, because I was trying to be sarcastic to start with, saying, you know, how can you possibly play him? He's crap, stuff like that. And I didn't mean that. I was slowly bringing it round as to it wasn't actually his fault. So if you listened to the first bit and thought, what a load of rubbish, then please listen to that whole piece on actually it wasn't Kane's fault. And for that reason, I'm going to donate this bar to Harry Kane. Give him some energy so he can run around the football pitch maybe a bit more. Now, Kieran, you got a score right as well. We must come to that.
Whoa.
So that makes it 3-2 on correct scores. Just a couple of things on the previous game we discussed, and that was Italy-Turkey. I found these facts out and I thought this was interesting. Italy, they played a top five when in possession. When I sort of saw the highlights, that's how England want to play. And, you know, they played 25 players, including all three goalkeepers in their three games. Not bad, is it? Especially as they looked very similar all the way through in the quality of football. And that tells you something about Italy's lineup, whole team that is, and the whole quality of their players, but also how their players have been drummed into them how to play football. There wasn't a trip up when they put another couple of players on and took a couple of players off. It didn't change the dynamics of Italy. Turkey, no points, 1 goal. And, they had 62 shots against them, which is the highest ever in this competition. We won't see that again, will we?
Safe to say we shouldn't have backed them whatsoever, nor should anyone else.
No, the Lloyds Bank Black Horse. Before we go into those games, answer me this. 24 teams, better than 32?
Yeah, but if you had 32, then you'd have really, really crap teams in there.
But is that not a bad thing? North Macedonia are out. Was it not good for North Macedonia? Weren't they fun to watch? Were they really? Was it really not good having North Macedonia in this competition?
I suppose it
Finland.
probably defeats the point of the qualifiers, though. This is the thing, a bit, because you have teams or groups of 6, don't you? And that would effectively mean that half of those teams go through. It's just a lot of games for not a lot to happen.
We also, though, have teams that come 3rd out of 4 go through. And also, they know what they've got to do by the end of it. I mean, everybody, I think this scenario where teams get points and don't know whether they're through or not, you can get a team that get 3 points out of 9 and are through to the next round. And not only are they through to the next round, but they get an easier team in the next round than the team that get 9 points.
It'll probably end up that it'll move to 32 teams because they just did it gradually, didn't they? It was 16, now 24, and at some point it'll probably be 32. It probably won't be too long until that happens.
And the other thing that I think is unfair about this whole system, because I like to moan a lot, is ranking teams so early means they get it wrong. When they put this team together, shouldn't they wait and then look at who's better than who and then put them in the basket? I mean, Wales was one of their favourites in their group. Isn't that a bit... Oh, just dropped the pen. Isn't that...
Well, no, they weren't. This is the thing. It was Switzerland and Turkey. And rightfully so that Switzerland and Turkey were above them because they are better footballing teams. But somehow Wales have managed to pull through. It's a bit of a... You have to remember that Wales shouldn't be there. Wales shouldn't have done this. It's just a bit of a shock result because Turkey was so bad and they managed to get a lucky draw. Wales did. So I can understand what you mean, though, because obviously Germany, France and Portugal shouldn't really be in the same group.
No.
But it's just sometimes how it works.
Next. Now, remember this is before the England game tonight, which I've got. The reason we're doing this is my work, not Kieran's. Kieran ain't got any. It's my work. Means I'm not going to have time. Coronavirus. I don't get it. Why is one Scottish player being separated and the rest are fine, but 2 England players who did what? Say hello at the end of the match? Even though they're all in the same dressing room?
Yeah,
I don't get it. Is there a few rules being broken here, do you think? Or do you think
I don't.
I mean,
I think it's quite complicated now how COVID is passed on it's not as simple as it seems.
And why can't they
or
take a
seems-
test?
Of course, they can take a test, but even if you test negative, you still have to isolate because the symptoms can develop and all that sort of thing.
But I
It
don't
doesn't
understand the dressing.
It doesn't make
situation.
sense, does it? It doesn't make sense because you would have thought if one has it, then the whole team has to isolate. But
Well, didn't Gilmore jump on everybody, and clap and cuddle and kiss and I mean, I don't understand. There's something. I mean, I don't want to sort of, suggest this. I sort of, something's going on. Don't mention it. Very odd, I think.
It's not. I don't think it's anything that shouldn't be happening because otherwise it would be very obvious because the whole world can see it. It's not. It's just how the rules are laid out, and the rules are weird. It's not anything. Or I don't think they're supposed to be doing that. It's just weird rules.
Very strange. Don't sound like the rules that the rest of the world play by. Okay, and doesn't this? Remember, this is before the game. Doesn't this put our friend Gareth in rather a nice place? Because I bet he will say, I would have played Chilwell. Now I can't.
Can I point out, isn't this a bit pointless, us talking about the preview for England if this could be after the game?
No, because I think he can now use that as an excuse. Not playing
No,
Chilwell.
as in for us talking about it now, what's the point?
Yeah, we're going to move on.
Okay.
We're gonna discuss England after England. We're now going to discuss Denmark 4, Russia 1. Which game did you watch when that was on TV?
Neither.
You didn't watch either. I suppose you were playing. Kieran was scoring 5. We should have him up front for England. Okay, let me tell you then. Denmark played a 3-4-3, worked very well. The great goals. Have you seen the goals?
I have
Christiansen's goal, the third one, took the roof off. There wasn't a roof. At least there certainly wasn't after he put it in the back of the net. What a brilliant goal. I thought that was a cracker. I thought Denmark looked good. And I think Wales, who will be facing Denmark in the next round, were hoping that Russia would score a couple of goals or something, anything, so they don't meet Denmark, because Denmark have improved. I mean, forget the first game. Don't know that tells you nothing. The first game tells you, and that was the one they lost. From then on, I think they're getting better. And maybe without Ericsson, they're having to rely on each other rather than. They looked fast. They did miss a few. But Russia, what were they at? Do you know they were wasting time from kickoff because a draw would help them? What was that?
Well, they're trying to slow the game down. Denmark obviously came in with a big motivation and big determination with their crowd behind them and that sort of thing. And Russia just tried to slow it down from the get-go to try and make sure their momentum doesn't build, I guess. That was what it's about, realistically, because there's no reasons to... I mean, Denmark and Russia are decently equal in terms of quality. Just Denmark had motivation levels...
But they were enthusiastic. Russia looked like they wanted to go. I mean, they just looked like they quit. They just weren't. I mean, okay, to start with, they were wasting time, but they didn't look bad. But they looked lazy. And that second goal, boy, did you see the Russian pass back?
You could see as soon as the guy hit it, because he probably did see that the Denmark guy was there, and so just tried to rush it a bit, but then overhit it and went through to the Denmark guy. I can sympathise with it, but it was bad.
That was a Gerrard, wasn't it?
Almost, yeah. Don't bring up that name with those. Come on. Made me cry.
Okay, Ukraine, Austria. Well, what can you say? Did you see any of that?
I did.
Okay. Hit me.
Kind of similar in that Austria just seemed a little bit more up for it than Ukraine did. Ukraine just seemed a little bit under pressure and kind of bottled it towards the end. Alaba with another assist as well.
Good, wasn't he? Wasn't he
yeah.
good? He'd obviously been given the job of being able to sort of roam a bit, get out of his one position. It didn't matter where Austria had the ball. It looked like it was him that got it wherever on the pitch. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the quality of teams, they seem to be both quite equal. I suppose. I mean, Austria did play Alaba in his actual position, which probably helped, and it did have Arnautovic back from suspension somehow.
Well, we both had put Ukraine on this one to win, and I think they probably played our YouTube channel in their dressing room, and to get them motivated. For me and you putting them down, so out they come to win, and I think that's what happens. I think some of these players have obviously found our channel and say, look, they say we're rubbish. We're going to show them, and that seems to be the way of the world, doesn't it? Because I mean, we'd done the same with Russia and Denmark. You'd put a draw, and I'd put 2-1 to Russia. I mean, it's pretty close, 4-1 to Denmark, but I think that's what it is. I think they show them our YouTube channel to get them motivated in the dressing room.
I mean, it does have to be said as well. Possession for both of them was equal, but one had 18 shots, one had 5. Just so much more efficient with the ball. Were Austria?
Well, they moved up the pitch.
Yeah,
it looked like they didn't look scared, which they have done. They'd played a slightly, not a ton, they're still looking after their defence, but they seem to have just moved that 10 foot up the pitch a bit to be more effective. And with Alaba running and roaming, it seemed to give them that little bit more freedom to go for it. They didn't look like a robot. Is that how? Yeah.
They weren't just a system.
That's right.
It just kept on ticking. It was actually free flowing.
Will they do that in the next round? I mean, remember, how many points did they finish with? Was it 6?
Yep. They beat North Macedonia, beat Ukraine.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
It's decent, but it's also kind of expected, I guess. It was going to be either one of Austria or Ukraine who beat each other and so got 6 points. And that also has to be said for Netherlands as well. Has to be remembered that they do or were expected to win all 3 games. So maybe don't big them up too much too early.
Now, would we?
Yeah.
We would. Yeah, we would. I'm just looking up my paperwork to see those first groups, that in what order we put those in. But I'll find that by the end. You can see well organised. Here we go. Yeah. So just to step one back, we put Italy, Turkey, Switzerland, Wales. Well, we got that totally wrong. The Belgium, Russia, Denmark, Finland, we've done half of them. We've done the Group C halfway, so let's do the next one. But I thought the Ukraine looked scared. But they're too talented, surely, not to make it. What? I thought Ukraine have looked like they've got it, but not in that game. Netherlands, Macedonia. What chance did they stand?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
No, I mean, in the end, it was a bit of a dead rubber game, wasn't it? It didn't matter really what happened.
No, I didn't. I have to be honest, say I didn't watch that one. I picked the games that mattered. Funny that BBC One and ITV One pick the top team, who are already through, playing the bottom team, who are probably out. And yet the games that matter they put on the second channel, and I do notice that they seem to stick the female commentators and pundits on BBC Two and ITV4. And actually, I am not in shock because most of those female pundits actually can do their job because they have to get anywhere. Whereas people like Rio Ferdinand, and what's that other Wally on one of them? Can't remember his name. I'll come back to him on another game.
Roy Keane.
Roy Keane, no, he's funny.
But I mean, who's one of them that's very good? Emma Hayes, who's the Chelsea
that's
manager.
What I'm trying to think of. Yeah,
Chelsea manager's very good.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And yet they stick them on ITV4 and BBC Two. These good pundits, and yet people like Rio Ferdinand, what have you on TV. I mean, really. But anyway, they do that with the games. They stick they put Netherlands versus Macedonia on the bigger channel. Strange. So I didn't actually watch this one. I have to say, Wijnaldum scored a couple. Did he?
He did. He got player of the match as per normal, and he keeps impressing for Netherlands, doesn't he?
He does. Where's he going to... Do you know PSG, the players who play for PSG?
He will get in the midfield, no doubt.
Is that where he's going to be put?
He's a midfielder. He's not...
Is he going to play with Verratti up front?
Verratti's a midfielder.
So he'll play near him, will he?
It'll be... In the mid, they have... Gay, who's from Everton. He's their CDM. Verratti is almost a CDM as well. And then they'll have Wijnaldum, I'd imagine.
Slightly in front?
I don't see why not. If they've already got Verratti and Gay, then there's no need for Wijnaldum to stick that far back. It'd be interesting to see how Wijnaldum would link up with, your Mbappe and Neymar, but I can't think of who else they have kind of in that position. They have Draxler, but they don't seem to like using Draxler that much. Di Maria, but he's getting old. So, yeah, I imagine he will be an attacking midfielder for PSG. And, I mean, he scores all the time for the Netherlands, so why not?
I mean, he does look like he's going to end up... I mean, I know he's not De Bruyne, okay? I don't mean that.
No.
De Bruyne. What I mean is seen by that country as good as De Bruyne. Like we look at him as being the player you don't leave. He's, if he's missing the team, Wijnaldum looks like he could have been that as well. And so did Liverpool misuse him?
Potentially, because we do kind of have that spot in which we have one of our midfielders as more of an attacking midfielder, but it was commonly Thiago or Henderson, wasn't it? Or maybe an Oxlade-Chamberlain or a Keita. And so Wijnaldum could have been that player.
Keita or Wijnaldum?
Well, I mean, I hope Keita leaves this summer. It's not that I dislike him as a person or anything like that. I just think, 50 million for 3 years in which he's done absolutely nothing. He's definitely got to go. But maybe we do. I don't think it's a bad thing that Wijnaldum's left because his wage requirement apparently was insane, and you can see that by going to PSG.
Of course.
So I mean that's fine, but yeah, he will be a big miss.
And PSG are going to be something special, aren't they?
They need
Even
some defenders, and they need some defenders and leaders. PSG, in my opinion.
are they as good as Manchester City?
No, because City beat them. Then beat them comfortably. To be honest.
Do you think PSG need to be in the Premier League to improve?
They need to be in a bigger league. Yeah, definitely.
They need,
don't they? They need competition week in, week out. They don't have competition week in, week out. It's just like they're playing an FA Cup game every week in which they're playing a championship team. That's what it's like.
That is it. I mean, to sort of, I know taking this down a level slightly, but my table tennis didn't improve until I played somebody who played for Buckinghamshire.
Mm.
Who used to come. I mean, I still lost. He used to beat me 21-2 or something. But that improved my game. So now when I play somebody who's not very good, I well and truly beat them. But it's through the competition. It's because I had to play somebody better that my game improved. And PSG need to play other teams, don't they?
It's why the English teams all got to the finals of the European Cups, didn't they? Even though we slated Man City and Chelsea and Man United at times this season, they still all got to the finals and got there pretty comfortably in the end.
Is this why, just going back a frazzle, isn't this why North Macedonia going to this competition is what is needed? It's all well and fine being English, saying it's our competition, but it isn't. It's a European competition. And isn't it? I mean, they got there and now they're going, but they got there and they didn't embarrass themselves. And when they walked off the pitch, it was all clappy, clappy, clappy as they went, and they succeeded. Isn't that good? Isn't that how we're going to improve European football across Europe? By actually opening it up maybe a bit more for North Macedonia and teams.
I do think that will probably occur. It was just probably expanding it from 16 to 32 is probably too big a jump at the time. So hopefully they will expand to 32. Because realistically, there's no reason not to. I mean, for UEFA, I mean, they get more money, don't they, if there's more games? So
yeah.
There's no reason not to.
Okay. Well done, North Macedonia. I would just like to say that. But did we get that group in order? Netherlands, Ukraine, Austria, North Macedonia. No, we got Ukraine and Austria the wrong way round.
Yeah.
Got first and fourth right. Got second and third wrong way round.
That was a flip of the coin, I think, though.
A flip? Yeah.
Flick
of the coin. Yeah, flick. A De Jong of the coin. Belgium, Finland. Last one.
I guess with this one, all we really need to talk about is VAR.
Well, 1 second on that.
So I've got some stats.
Well, just that. Talking about De Bruyne. 40% of Belgium's chances in all 3 games came from De Bruyne, and he was only on the pitch over those 3 games for 45 minutes.
Yep.
Massive. Right? Did that make sense? That was easily understood, wasn't it? De Bruyne on the pitch for 45 minutes over 3 games.
Did he not?
40% of the chances over those 3 games was made by De Bruyne.
Did he not start yesterday's game? He started yesterday's game, so it would have been about 120 minutes, wouldn't it?
Oh, am I talking about the first 2 games?
You may be, yeah, because he came on around the 60th minute mark in the second game.
Trouble is, all these games are being flown at me, and statistics are sort of, can I keep up with the statistics? But I bet he created a few. Again, that was a game I didn't watch, I have to be honest, because, again, I was watching the other side. Because the other game, of course, Russia, Denmark, was more important and more fun, I have to say, probably.
Well, I mean,
what happened with VAR, Kieran?
Did you see it?
No.
So there was a goal that Belgium scored. De Bruyne played it through to Lukaku, and you know those offside calls that are.
Now I did they put the little corner up on the right hand side when I was watching that game, but they didn't go through it, and I thought that's interesting. Yeah, no problem. And then they didn't give it.
They used a different frame in which he was offside, as opposed to the frame they actually should have used when De Bruyne kicks the ball. The problem is that it isn't definitive as to which frame these referees use.
So like, I would have got it right with 3-0 then, not you with 2-0.
Yes, but I mean, the referees helped me out a little bit, didn't they?
Well, they obviously had read.
Yeah, it was an absurd decision, wasn't it? I mean, the problem is that we discussed it, didn't we? How VAR was doing all right, and now it's doing pretty.
Yeah, again, we because we said how good it was. They obviously played that in the VAR room.
Yeah, and we're like, oh crap, we haven't been bad
so
enough.
everything we say. So I reckon today,
Czech Republic beat England.
In just a second, we'll find out whether this comment is correct. Stick all the Manchester City players on that pitch, and Kane will score a hat trick.
So Kane's not going to score any, and the Man City players aren't going to play. That's what you want.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm scared of saying anything.
I'm going to say Jordan Henderson is not going to play and is not going to score any goals. So he'll play and score a hat trick.
Okay. And this is where we cut it off. Okay. And Kieran, just for a bit of a laugh, this is where we're going to start and finish. Prediction on the England game.
Well done, England. Big 4-0 dub. Loved it. Loved every second of it.
Kane is on for the Golden Boot. 3-0. Kane scores 3. And I reckon Foden gets a couple.
Yeah, it's coming home, boys.
It's coming home. Football's coming home. And so part 2 starts here. Okay, we're just having to start again because it just froze to death. Okay, well, weren't we all excited? Thrills, let's calm down. Wipe the sweat away. England, my goodness, wasn't that exciting? Couldn't walk away from the TV in case you missed something, like the ball being kicked.
I know someone who did actually miss the goal, to be fair.
Sorry?
I know someone who did actually miss the goal.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw the goal.
Oh, right, okay.
Someone went off for a pee.
Yeah.
And we scored.
Right. Blinked.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. I start with the pluses. I mean, I don't want to be negative. I've tried very hard. I've read lots of comments from Scotland fans. I thought, well, actually, I'm not as negative as that. We started like Croatia. We started like Scotland. First 10 minutes, thought 5-2. This is 5-2 after 10 minutes. I thought, no, this is 0-0. We score a goal, and I'm thinking, this is 1-0. Did you think it was going to be 1-0 after 14 minutes?
Not after 14. Well, it nearly was after 2 minutes, wasn't it?
It was.
Sterling at the post as well.
Yeah.
Does have to be said, it was pretty comfortable in the end. The whole game in general.
Is this game management? This whole idea of hit them for 10 minutes, then we'll all go on a holiday?
It can't be. You can't say, "Oh, we're only going to do the first 10 minutes of attacking." It can't be that. I wouldn't have thought, but it does kind of seem that way, doesn't it? Because it's the
It
exact
does.
same in the
It does
last
very
two, three
much.
games. Um,
He does seem
but
to. He must tell them, go out there, hit them for 10 minutes, then get a deck chair out.
yeah, I mean,
Find a hat.
I really do hope that the second half was game management. Because if it wasn't, then blimey.
Do you think
I
the rest of the world look at see in their diary? They get their diary. Think England game tonight. Can't miss that.
well, I hope they do because we're kind of hoping that we come up against a decent team that makes our games more interesting. Like, I'm looking forward more to like playing France, Germany, or Portugal because they might actually be decent and may make us actually do something.
I'm glad actually we didn't come second and play boring teams.
Yeah,
I say boring teams, it's not them, is it? I'm pleased, like you, I'm glad we're going to hit France, Germany, or Portugal. Any preference?
I've having seen the first few games, I reckon Portugal would be the easiest to beat. I
Easiest,
think
easiest.
not
I
realistically
like
they realistically they should all beat us, but their defense against Germany at times was very suspect. Whereas France and Germany's defense, you kind of get the impression that they could keep us out for 5 days straight.
Ronaldo versus Stones.
Well, this is it, isn't it, as well? I mean, even Jota, I wouldn't. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, I can imagine, because against English players, and he's played against them all season, that he may have a bit more of an impact than he has done in the first two games.
Grealish. Interesting. Saka. Well, I would never have guessed. Grealish was in their half, touching the ball. He was in their half and touched the ball. He touched the ball all the time, 37 times, but only 9 in our half. That was good, wasn't it? He
Yeah,
was in their half.
forward thinking,
Yeah.
which
Did
is
he
what we
make a
need.
difference?
I
We've
think
been
you have to.
screaming. The world's been screaming for
I think you have to give it to both of them. To be fair, Grealish played as good as we know he can do, and he can definitely find a few more gears in there. I mean, probably have to say it's his first start, and therefore it may have taken him a little while to get up to speed. But then again, England were playing very slow as well. But then Saka as well, he was fantastic. Who would have thought to start him over Sancho?
I know.
Realistically,
That
no
was a
one.
shock, wasn't it?
It was a big shock. Realistically, no one would have started Saka over Sancho. But and whether he still should start over Sancho, I don't know. Sancho got 5 minutes at the end, just as they're like, oh yeah, I've still remembered him. He still is on the bench, by the way, as is Rashford as well, for crying out loud. But
We can't get in Mr. Manager's brain here, can we?
oh, who knows what he's thinking? But what another one that you don't know what he's thinking is Henderson coming on at half time for Rice. If you're going to bring off one of the midfielders, surely it would have been Phillips, because surely that's who Phillips was coming in to replace was Henderson, and then he brings off the actual player who's, you know, pretty much cemented in that midfield. It's so strange. Honestly, no one's got a clue.
What we do know is that he is very defensive minded. He says he's looked at all the winners in the past, and the first thing that he has to make sure is we don't let in any goals. Well, he's done that.
Yep.
He's done that. We can
It's fair
safely
play.
say we don't let in goals.
Yep.
The points, 7 out of 9, excellent.
Yep, that's solid. Would have taken that at the start of the tournament.
2 goals in 3 games. Does it matter?
It's not ideal, I would say, because it suggests to us as fans that we can't then go and score enough against a France, Germany, or Portugal. It's what it suggests.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? What is he going to do when they score first?
Well, this is the thing. We haven't been in this position yet, have we? And I imagine we haven't been in this position since. I mean, when was the last time England actually lost a game? Because we've always obviously had the qualifiers and all that sort of thing. The last time we must have lost a game was like the Nations League semi-final, which is the start of 2019, I think. So it's an awful, awful long time.
We could have done losing, going 1-0 down at some point.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's a big mentality thing to be able to come back. And so that may put us at a slight disadvantage unless we keep it at 0-0 the whole game and then score at the end, which would be fab, wouldn't it?
It would. It would. I mean, I think we could spend ages talking about Mings or Stone.
Well, I mean, on that as well, has to be said, Maguire was decent.
I thought Maguire was good. He actually created a few chances, didn't he?
He created his big one for Kane, didn't he?
Yeah.
Then, in all fairness to Kane, it was a solid effort, but keeper made a good save. So in case of Tyrone Mings or John Stones, pick either.
Pick a left foot or a right foot.
It doesn't seem to be that much difference, does it? I mean, Mings is obviously left-footed. Maguire's right, isn't he? But then he did play Maguire on the left, didn't he? Because of his link with Shaw. At the beginning of the game, anyway.
The Stones played at the start.
Was Maguire
Mings as a sub?
Yeah, but as in Stones started on the right and Maguire started on the left.
Yes.
Yeah.
What worries me, I thought Stones was very slow and only passed it sideways. On the other hand, he isn't prone to pulling players down in the box, and he's reasonably safe, and he does look like he can score the corners if he keeps his eye on the goal. Now, okay, let's start, and we'll talk about each individual player, and we'll finish at that point. I think. Go on.
One last thing is, you were talking about how many meters you advance.
0.9. Did we improve that? Is this what you're going to?
No, we went down. We went down to 0.7.
We went even slower.
I imagine the first 20 minutes or so, it was very quick because obviously you had Grealish and Saka running at people. Then after that, it was even slower. So even without Foden on there, which is interesting.
But is that Walker as well, though?
I think it is. I think it's partly the fullbacks. I mean, the fullbacks have not attacked once this whole tournament.
Walker was well. We'll go through the players, but
yeah, we'll go through it.
Shocking.
Yeah,
I just thought I'd mention that in there just before you say how brilliant he was. Let's start with Mr. Goalkeeper.
Very good again, has to be said.
No,
can't fault him, can you? There was a pass I remember him doing to Grealish in the middle of the field that was very good as well.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Pickford.
No. So Pickford gets a plus. Would you give him?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Next time. Okay. We look at his starting back line, which was Walker.
In the bin.
In the bin.
Yeah.
You thought he had a bad game?
Well, it doesn't offer enough, either defensively or attackingly, to be honest. I don't know what the fullbacks have actually offered this whole tournament.
Well, they haven't, have they? That's the point. Is that
they've made the numbers up?
You see, I would say that's manager, but I thought Walker was shocking anyway.
Regardless, yeah.
Yeah,
I
regardless.
Agree with that.
What he was done.
He was bad against Croatia as well, wasn't he? So maybe Gareth was using this as let's see if Walker's going to be playing the next game or not. And I think this probably will tell him that he's not going to.
You see, if he was any good, it'd be handy because he's fast.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing is, in the Champions League final, he was Man City's best player, wasn't he? And you kind of want to Yeah, this is the thing. If he was any decent, like if he was been playing decently, then you'd no question but start him. But he just
He
hasn't.
could do with a fast fullback, and
Mm.
he is fast, but it ain't enough. So what? You wouldn't pick, just a fast person. You need somebody who can play football. Okay, let's go along that back line then, and then so next we come to Stones.
Was okay. Uh, did what he needed to, I guess. But in terms of passing wise, he's not as good as Maguire. Is he better than Mings? Probably about the same. Doesn't stand out in front of Mings, has to be said.
So
Defensively or
he
passing
gets
wise.
an A. So they get a tick across or an A. An A can be average.
A can be if he starts, then fine.
So does he
But
start the next game?
I
You
think he
pick in the
probably
next game. I know it's difficult because we don't know who we're playing.
no. I think based on the team he plays for and the opposition he's been able to play against this season, I imagine he would play
Okay.
because that does make a difference.
Okay. It's going to be Maguire, isn't it? He will
Yeah.
play next game. Maguire. So we know we're going to give him a tick for the next game. And he played, I thought, all right.
Yeah, he was solid. I think he was
Yeah.
decent. Probably should have won a penalty late on as well, but
Yeah. Next was Mr. Man United.
Luke Shaw,
Sure.
similar to
He was
Walker,
all right yesterday.
he was okay, but still didn't offer, you know, that much. No, it's almost like you want to play Trippier there just to like offer something a bit different because he's right-footed. Because then it's something different. And I remember when Trippier played, bits and pieces actually happened. With Shaw, absolutely nothing happened. So again, that's probably down to the manager.
But remember, last time Trippier was there, we wanted him replaced by Shaw. Now
I know.
Shaw's there, we want him replaced by Trippier.
Well, I mean, we wanted him replaced by Chilwell, but then he went and had a hug, didn't he? So
yes, we won't go back into that. Chilwell, yeah, we'll come to that in a second.
Well, he won't be there, will he?
Well, of course, it depends the training. He will be ready, but they've had 10 days away from training and they're not going to be fit. It depends what they've been doing for 10 days.
Oh, will he actually be able to play?
The Monday there, is over. We got the game.
Oh, really?
Tuesday.
Oh, well, fair enough.
You see,
it's something makes it a bit difficult.
But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you play him or not? It depends what training they've had. Okay, so does he play or doesn't he?
I imagine he probably will.
Yeah, I'm asking you. Would you play him?
No.
No. Okay, now we come to the midfield. Who we got in there? Phillips?
We had Phillips, who was...
He was okay.
He was okay. Again, didn't... I think... Oh, the problem is, I'm just going to be so biased, but I think Henderson did offer more. Yeah. Henderson going forward offered a lot more, and he did the same job as Phillips did towards the back. And playing out from the back actually looked a bit more different and unique when Henderson was on the pitch. So I wouldn't start Phillips, no.
Okay, who else we got in there?
Rice, who, has to be said, didn't do a lot when he was on the pitch. This is the problem with all the England players; they don't do a lot. And it makes our analysis sound really just basic, but it has to be said.
That
well,
they pass the ball sideways at 0.7
meters
a second. Yeah,
I'd say Rice will start because he's our best CDM. It's just dependent on who's alongside him. And
Saka.
But it was the two CDMs, then we had the three in front of them.
Yeah.
So we had Saka. Saka was excellent. Probably the first half, probably man of the match.
Yeah, he got the prize, didn't he?
Yeah, could argue that alongside Grealish. And for a guy his age and all that sort of thing, he just
He
this is not,
exploded on that pitch.
I was gonna say he expressed himself, but he just did. He
Oh,
just did though, didn't he?
oh, he expressed himself. That's a real
No, but
Ferdinand comment.
I
Then.
know, but he just did. He just went out and
I bet
played.
Rio had us down for the 5-0 win like you did.
Yeah, he just went out and played football.
And then does he play next go? Because remember who he's replacing here. Mount might be around, but he's 10 days without the team. You've got your other mate. He'll never play, the German.
No.
He's got to play for Manchester United to get picked.
Yep.
That's the truth.
He brought on Bellingham though, didn't he? And he's 17.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I think it's so he gets a pat on the back for playing young players. I don't think he picks them to pick the team. I think he's just picking them to say, well, no, I did play, blah, blah, blah. But I think he's got a problem with him.
Bellingham?
No.
Sancho. Has to.
He's got a problem with Sancho. I wonder if Sancho's said something like, I don't like your coat or something.
I mean, from what it appears, it looks like he has a problem with Rashford as well.
Well, yeah, there seems to be...
Because you would have thought that Rashford would be one of those players that he would definitely start. He'd start Rashford in front of Saka, wouldn't you, normally?
Maybe he gave him a tin of tomato soup instead of vegetable. I don't know.
I mean, it'd be funny if he got pissed off that much at that, but I don't know.
Something, yeah. It's fallen out of flavour. Fallen out of flavour.
Yeah. Nice. I wouldn't be disappointed if Saka started. I have no idea if he's going to start. I imagine no.
Grealish
did what we wanted him to. Carried the ball, made things happen, got the assist. Not much more he could have done, really.
Will he play? Would you play him?
I would, definitely.
Do you think he will?
No. I think in the end he'll resort back to his very standard team at the beginning of the tournament. He'll go for Foden, Kane, and Sterling up front.
I think he will as well, which really worries me.
Mm.
We're on 9. Who have we missed? Kane.
Sterling, I
forgot about him.
As did most people when he was on the pitch. Actually, with him, he probably wasn't one of those.
Goal, that's the trouble.
He was alright.
Trouble.
Yeah, he was okay. He did stuff that he was supposed to, I guess.
Would you play him?
I wouldn't, but Gareth will.
Okay, and Kane. Oh, here's the fun one. We're back to Kane again.
I found it hilarious how inside the first 3 minutes he was in the CDM spot picking up the ball and spraying passes, and I was like, oh no, here we go again.
We discussed this about it was not all his fault.
But yesterday was the time in which he could show that it wasn't his fault. But it kind of made it look like it was.
With Saka and Grealish on the pitch, he shouldn't have had a problem playing at the number 9.
No.
They were moving for him in the right direction. Maguire was feeding him. It wasn't based on Sterling. We know they were slow at the back, but it got players on the pitch putting the ball to his feet had he been standing there. He's slow as well, isn't he?
In comparison to a lot of strikers, yeah. He's not rapid, is he?
I'm not making my mind up on this one.
He will start the next game. There's no question about that. But there was a comment from Neville before the game in that he feels as if Kane is one of these who can't have his mentality changed by anything, doesn't matter what. But you could see in that second half that Kane was not. He was not feeling okay.
No,
If that was mentally or
his
physically.
confidence.
Yeah, I don't care.
How can he lose his confidence? My goodness.
Yeah, the only people who can not lose confidence are Messi and Ronaldo, and Kane has been on this. See, this rut. There's only 3 games. Like strikers do go 3 games without scoring. It's the fact that the rest of his game has just been non-existent. I felt sorry for him in the end, to be honest. If he got that goal in the first half, then could have said everything would be all right. But
trouble is, he's got to get that goal next time.
He has to. Yeah.
Do you change him?
No.
Do you change him?
No.
I don't either. But I think people are going to have to try and put it on a plate for him. That one goal, and we're off.
The thing is, I'd even be worried if it was a penalty, because could you imagine what he'd be feeling going up to a penalty?
Give it to Henderson.
Don't give it to Henderson. Bless him. I really wanted him to have that goal at the end, Henderson.
Do you know?
But he knew that it wasn't.
Yeah, of course he did. The rest of us did. Not on TV, did they? I mean, my goodness, what is wrong with them? Yeah. He was about 10 yards offside. No, the rest of everybody else was in the other half.
It's because they didn't know whose foot it came off, did they?
Oh,
it was quite obvious, though, wasn't it?
Kane is a difficult one. I have to be honest and say, when I look at the choice to swap him, I don't think there's a choice. If Bamford was on the bench, I might.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think the problem is the way we're playing is that I'd even consider having Rashford up top, but we can't have Rashford up top with the way we're playing at the moment.
No,
it doesn't suit having a front 3 of Rashford, Sterling, Grealish, Sancho, whoever. It doesn't suit.
What would you think to Bamford being the second? It's because because Bamford is one of these that a wild card, I suppose you could say. And I just think that the 2 successful players on that pitch were the 2 wild cards of Saka and Grealish. And it just sort of strikes me that I can just see Bamford getting in there, getting his foot tripped, his ball hitting him on the back of the head and going in. I could just see him put himself about. Kane isn't about.
No. I would back Bamford, actually. He just offers something
different,
completely unique and different, doesn't he?
I would start Kane. I want him to succeed. I like him. You cannot say he isn't any good. We know what Kane is.
Yeah. You get the impression with Bamford that he would just give defenders problems.
Yeah.
Evidently, Kane hasn't done that in the first few games. And I feel like Bamford would do a better job of that than Calvert-Lewin would.
Yeah,
I would have backed Bamford.
I don't
like Danny Ings as well. He would never suit the system, Danny Ings, but it would. Well, that's
nice. With Bamford, isn't it? He wouldn't do as he's told.
No, which is probably a good thing.
Well, exactly. That's why he doesn't pick. Or hasn't picked Grealish, etc. They don't do as they're told.
No, this is the same with Trent, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so this is what we've got. This is your England team. Are we ready?
Yeah.
You've got Pickford, Stones, Maguire, Henderson, Rice, Grealish, and Kane. So what we're after is a right back, please.
Reece James. Has to be, I think.
Okay, so we've got Pickford, James, Stones, Maguire. Who's your left back? If not sure. Gotta go.
He can't play Chilwell because he hasn't played him yet. And would he play Trippier?
You can go back to Shaw if you're not. If
I
you're
think I'm gonna.
not sure.
Think I'm gonna have to go back to Shaw.
Okay. Then we got Then we got Henderson, Rice. Who would you play? Would you play Saka, or who would you play instead of Saka? You've got Saka, Grealish, and Sterling, and you don't want to play Saka or Sterling, or do you? With Grealish,
I'd play Mount.
even though you said you wouldn't play Chilwell. Oh no, Chilwell hasn't played at all, right? So you got Mount, Grealish, and instead of Sterling,
I mean, I'd go Sancho, wouldn't I?
you would.
But something's. I think based on what's happened so far, I'd play Saka over Sancho.
Okay. So this is This is your final team then: Pickford, James, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Henderson, Rice, Saka, Mount, Sancho, Kane.
What's I've left Grealish out?
Oh no, sorry, it'd be Mount, Saka. Yeah, you could.
Have we got
Mount, Saka, Grealish.
Mount, Saka, Grealish, Kane. That's 11, isn't it?
That's 11.
Thought I put 12 in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And we want Portugal. Okay, we'll finish there then. I'm sure this is well long.
We might as well say as well, Scotland weren't very good.
Scotland were crap. Actually,
yeah, we had
what I've listened to, what I've seen. They had 3 shocking players. If I look the team up, Armstrong, O'Donnell, and there was another one I can't remember.
I think it was a midfield that was completely overrun by Modric and co.
Yeah. Interesting listening to a Scotsman talk about it today, and he was just so depressed. What's the name of the guy in a midfield who plays in the Premier League? I'm trying to think of his name.
McGinn?
Yeah, McGinn. Who's he play for?
Villa.
Right, because he was talking about him should be playing for a top 6 team.
So they've linked him with Liverpool actually, but then Villa have slapped a £50 million price tag on, and so it's like, oh no.
Would you? All I can say is we remember the conversation we had, or I remember the conversation we had at the beginning, saying the first game would be all hopes high, the second game would be just hoping, and the third game would be that game where we're standing up for who we are, and it almost happened that way. Scotland scored 1 goal.
Yeah. End of the day, it's just.
It's only 1 less than England.
You're not wrong, are you? But then they conceded 5 more than us.
Yes.
It has to be said as well. I can't remember what their first goal was. I think it was crap, but Croatia's second and third goals were fair. Modric's especially, so wow.
We'll say goodbye to Scotland for another 23 years then. It's funny because I wanted England, Scotland and Wales to do really well in this tournament. Probably in the order of England, Wales, Scotland. And then once I heard and read an awful lot about what Scottish people thought about England, I changed my mind. Goodbye, Scotland. I'm glad you're out. You certainly don't deserve to have gone any further. That's a fact. Wales, congratulations. I hope we meet you in the final. And then
that'd be fun.
Can only be a little disappointed if we don't win it, but the best team comes second.
You'd be very disappointed if we didn't win it with Wales in the final.
So we're hoping to meet Portugal next. And if England and Wales don't win it, who's your third team you would like to win it, Kieran?
I'd like to win it. All right, not Germany, not Portugal, because of Bruno Fernandes, and that'd be awful. France don't really care if they win it. Spain won't. Who else even is there?
Who else?
Stuff it.
Italy. I'd like Italy to win it.
That'd be good.
I think they've been the most out of the lot. I think they've been. I mean,
Netherlands.
I know Netherlands have been entertaining, but I think Italy have been entertaining. Haven't let a goal in. I think they've been one step up from what I was expecting, and thoroughly enjoyed their style of football, because I thought it was just so drilled and just so one team playing. 11 players on the pitch playing together, a real drilled, good football game. I think so. What I'm actually trying to say is I think you can go to all 3 Italy games and use to show fullbacks, midfield and forwards how to play football. Which is why I would like Italy. If England or Wales don't win it, I want Italy to win it. And I certainly don't want to play them.
No, that'd be a very boring game as well. I would imagine.
Yeah, and we'd lose 3-0.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I hope that's been all right for you. We are back on Friday having a look to the future and telling you all the scores that we're going to have in the future, because me and Kieran will get them all right, won't we,
So,
Kieran?
What's they say the England score's going to be?
5-0.
Oh, actually.
Yeah.
That was stupid, wasn't it?
It was rather. I went for 2-0. So I was being very, very hopeful.
You know, I would have won 66 quid yesterday had we scored 2 more goals, because I bet on 3-0 to England and Sterling to score first. So if we'd actually attacked a bit, I would have been 66 quid richer.
Attacked a bit? Attacked? What's that?
We don't know, mate. We haven't seen it for a while.
Goodness. Do you think just before we finish, is this a good way of playing football?
No.
Because he wants to win it. And we are through, after all, top of the table. So it works. It's working.
But I feel like we can do this style of play when we play the best teams. But right now, isn't it a bit meh?
It's the next game, isn't it? The next game is going to tell us everything.
Oh, we might be out.
The next game will tell us everything. Won't it?
Yeah.
It will tell us about the manager, the style of football, whether it works. It will tell us whether this team is good enough. It will tell us everything. It will answer every question. How big is the universe? Is there a God? Isn't there a God? It will tell us everything about creation and the end of the world. And with that, please come back on Friday, because it isn't the end of the world on Friday. That's next Tuesday, in fact. Okay, say goodbye, Kieran.
Bye.
And it's bye from me.